Hey everybody, got a lot of exciting stuff going on today. I'm just going to take a look, make sure the stream is good, because we had some audio issues last time. Got a lot of exciting stuff going on today. I'm just going to take a look, make sure the stream is good, because we had some audio issues last time. Got a lot of exciting stuff going on today. I'm just going to take a look, make sure the... Alright, it's looking good. Give me 1 second and we'll get started, y'all.
They go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With the back of the lamb, got a black truck. Got a black truck. Yeah, we be going strong. Shorty know I got my money long. High end like luxury, yeah, baby. Drop top, we speeding in that Sadie's. They go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With a bad bitch on me, she gon' act up. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that wax stuff. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that wax stuff. Private jet, G6, jetted up main. Got Louis V all over my body. Gucci, Louis Vuitton when I step in the lobby. Now shorty all up on me. Yeah, I'm heavy all up in the game. I'm spitting that raw shit. Freestyle, I'm shorty, know she want it. Well, I'm a scientist, bitch, I get up on it.
Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the stream. It's Wavy Beats here. I want to thank everyone for watching so much. So much. We hit 100 subscribers today. I know that's a small milestone, but for me, that's really exciting. We got 100 subscribers checking out the channel, and I just want to sincerely thank you all for really supporting the channel, listening to the music, commenting on the videos, and liking the videos. That's been so helpful to me, and your feedback has been really great to improve myself as an artist. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for checking out the channel. We're doing a cook-up today. I think we got all our audio issues fixed from yesterday. So let's get into it. Let's make something crazy. Let's just cook up something fat and just amazing. Start out with serum here. All right, I just want to start out. I kind of want to start out with a pad, something that's just, you know, a vibe. Let's make it chords. Let's go A minor, and I'm just gonna do regular chords. I don't know if that pads it. Just trying to find a good sound here. I got more serum presets than I know what to do with, so let's just find something really nice. And let's get that BPM up to 155. I want to make it like a hyper pop type of trap, something real, just real vibe, lots of smoothness, you know? So, I'm just messing with the melody right now. Trying to find something that's going to work for this beat. I got some just chords on a pad. Just something that I think will sound nice. Something that's going to just kind of set the tone for the rest. On these little accents, I like to go higher pitch, just because I think that's going to add a little more variance to the melody, and that's going to be really nice. Alright, so we are going to just add a couple little more good boys to this one, couple little more nice fellas that will make our melody stand out, and then we'll lay down our lead melody. I want like a really spicy lead for this one, something that's going to pull the listener in and be like, that's catchy, I want to listen to that. Alright, so what I did there was I accidentally laid down my notes as chords, but it ended up sounding absolutely crazy, so I just kind of let it be. A little happy accident is what I like to call those. we're just going all vibes with this one. 100% vibes. And I'm liking the way it's sounding, but I think that's enough melodies for now. And I think once we lay some drums on here, it's just going to be crazy hard. I want to go with a really smooth vibe for the melody, and then just crazy hard drums, percussion, just little rhythms coming in and out. So we're just going to pick some really nice percussion sounds. So, just a little kind of quick explanation of what I'm doing here is I want these percussion sounds to be on the 4, because we're at 155 BPM. So when I put percussion sounds on the 4, it's just going to sound much nicer, because we've already had the clap to keep the rhythm, and when that percussion hits at the end, it's just gonna add another little extra element of rhythm. So I'm thinking congas, bongos, anything tropical, just something, nothing like that. Just little sounds that are gonna add ambiance to the track, That one percussion sound was kind of loud. That little twinkly sound is a little harsh, so I just turned it down for right now. I like that rim, and I think that's going to be it for percussion. We don't want to go too crazy, but we want some nice rhythms. So that's kind of the rhythm I want to go for. Just something that's going to keep the beat moving. Something that's going to just add a little bit of spice. I like a clap on most of my beats. I don't normally just use a snare, because I just like clap that shit, I want it to hit you right in the face. Boom! I want it clap. A thick clap. As thick as I can possibly get. This one I would describe as more dry. This one's more thick. I like that first one. So once we put some reverb on that in the final mix, it's going to sound really nice. So I'm just going to add some claps in. I'm almost going for like a chill summertime, almost like a 2017 type of like SoundCloud rap vibe with this one. Something that's, you know, just got like almost like a nostalgic feel. Just cool melodies, very chill, very breezy, and then might even copy and paste one of those melodies as a flute so that we can bring it in, just kind of chop it up in the final mix. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it's it's feeling like that almost. Those melodies are just an entire vibe. They remind me of, you know, when everyone was blowing up on SoundCloud, when hip-hop, that whole new wave came in right around 2016, 2017. Just a really cool sound. All right. And for anyone watching who wants to know, we're in A minor, natural minor. We actually laid one of those melodies, that third melody, in a pentatonic scale because I think that just gives it a little more soul. So I just really like that sound. We added percussion. If you're just joining us, we're in 155 BPM. We're in A minor. We're just trying to vibe out, making a good track. And I'm thanking everyone for 100 subs. And if you enjoy the video, please subscribe. Let's keep it going, and let's make some great music together. Let's see what we can come up with here. Way too many 808s, but we can take some of those out. I just wanted a really nice, bounce to work with, and we can kind of add or subtract notes as we go, make it a little nicer. Alright, y'all, I am not feeling the second half of that 808 pattern. I like the first half, so I think I'm just gonna make it a 2 4 bars, 8 bars. That's right. That's what I like. I think that sounds good. That's got a nice bounce to it. And we can kind of add a little more bounce with the kick. I'm going to do a softer, more sparse kick on this one. And for anyone who's wondering, I'm using the Sanguine Paradise 808 from Luzi Verts pack, and I'm using the kick from That's a Rack from the same pack. I'm gonna EQ the kicks. I'm gonna add a little saturation maybe. So I think that if we do that, that's gonna be a really good way to kind of change up that same kick sound that we've been hearing. Alright, thank you all for bearing with me. I was just checking out my stream. I want to make sure we're not running into any issues, make it a good experience for everyone, so thank you all for bearing with me and listening. Messed up that one, but I think that's... just a really sparse kick on this pattern. I just wanted to add, because this is a really 808 heavy beat, so I kind of just wanted to add a little flavor to the 808 and not stand in the way. It's just going to be there just ever so slightly for when I take the 808 out at the first part of the verse. And that's just the way I personally arrange the song. We're just doing a little light mixing there so that we don't have stuff standing in the way while we're trying to make the track. I'm actually going to turn it up just a little for you guys so you can still hear it. It's pretty loud for me, but I know sometimes it loses a little bit of that output over stream, especially when I'm talking over it. those two are a little off. I knew I heard something funny going on. Some funny business with my melody. Alright, we got everything roughly mixed now. I want to make the hi-hat game pretty sweet on this track. Something that's really going to stand out. So let's pick a really nice hi-hat to start. Nothing there. Kind of like this A$AP Rocky hi-hat. We'll see how it fits. No. No. It's too tight. Too sharp. Kind of want something softer, and then we'll pitch some down. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to move the decay a little. If you see right there, I have a touchscreen on the MPC, a touchscreen here, so I can do a lot of the stuff on there. So if you see me doing something on there, it is most likely going to be something going on at the bottom of my screen here. Most of the time I'm just turning the volume down on stuff, or turning the decay down on a hat, so that sounds a little softer. I'm actually going to turn the attack up because I like the sound. I'm just not a huge fan of the way that the sound presents itself, you know? I did not mean to do that. My greasy ass fingers slipped. So we're just gonna do a simple pattern with some rolls, just to give it a little bounce, and then we're gonna do like a more crazy, pitching hi-hat track as well. And I am adding some swing to these hats. They're slightly before the beat. And I just think that gives it a little bit of character. You should always be adding a little swing to stuff. Or at least your claps, because on the MPC, I honestly often forget to do it because it does it automatically on here for me, which is really, really nice. But you can shift and make your clap a little bit behind the beat, and my hi-hats are a little ahead, so and it's just that like milliseconds of time that gives your beat a little bit more flavor. I don't know. It does something. Your ear hears it and you're like, my goodness, I can't believe we did it. Alright, so we got another track. with the hi-hat on it. Track 9. We're gonna copy the hat. And I'm gonna pitch it down. Alright, it's a little tough to do the stuff I want to do, you know, as it's going, but... Alright, let's see what we're trying to do here. This is like one of those things as a producer when you're making trying to make a crazy hi-hat pattern. You're like, I can't speak to anyone right now. I'm very busy. I'm trying to kind of make a falling pattern where the pitch falls and we kind of pick up speed as we go. Nope, that sounds like hot garbage right there. So let's keep at it. Everything there is really nice. You know what? I'm gonna take this out of here. I'm gonna copy and paste these first 3 because those sound really, really nice. We're gonna take these boys and move them up for a sec. kind of trying to hear what I want, you know, as I'm making it. So just trying to spread this out in a way that's gonna like roll really nicely into the loop. That's what's up. That's where it's at. Okay. Now see, when you have a really nice hi-hat pattern like that, a really nice hi-hat pattern like that, it just brings the beat to another level. Baby, want to know my style? Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't know why, but I kind of like that cheese sample. In a very weird way. Alright, nobody trip. We're not putting that in the beat. That would be stupid. Let's see if we have any other little effects we can toss in. Just something to kind of give it a little flavor. I like effects in my beat because I think they can they sell the idea of the beat. Like in the beat I made yesterday, Jump, that Mario sound and that like digital telephone ringing, they just kind of sell that electronic soundscape more. And I want to really sell it with something. Just something, you know. I'm using I'm sorry guys, I have to use the Nextel because it just works so well. Big fan of that reverse bass sound. Okay, so what I was just looking for there is kind of the space where we don't have our other percussion sounds. Because I don't want to layer, something real heavy like that sound over a really nice little percussion rhythm we have going on. So there's some space here. And I just like to have my drum beat nice and full. That's more of a personal taste than anything else. Just a preference that I just really enjoy having a nice full drum beat and little rhythms going on. Not in every beat, but in a beat like this, I feel like those little bit of a little bit of sizzle, that little bit of effects, just those sounds and that percussion can really sell the beat. They can really make it interesting to a listener or a potential artist to get on. They sell the idea and the vibe of the beat. They really make you, say, I'm here right now. I'm in the park, with my friends, just chilling out, listening to music. We're skateboarding. We're having a good time. We're in the sunshine. So you just really want to create the atmosphere and paint a picture, and that's really what percussion and sound effects do in a beat. Just kind of taking a listen now to see if there's anything else. And you want to turn your percussion up as long as you're not clipping. It shouldn't be as loud as your 808. Your 808 and your kick should be the loudest things in the beat. Percussion, clap, snare, next. Melodies and hi-hats. You want your hi-hats maybe a little lower. Or you want, it depends sometimes if the melody's harsh. I want these melodies a little bit louder right now because we're going to throw reverb on them. We're going to EQ them. We might add some delay. Just depends on what sounds good. Definitely going to add reverb to create that more spacey ambiance. I might add a little RC20 here before we even go into the final mixing stage. So let's just take a couple listens to the beat, kind of play with it. Does it sit right with us? Do we want to mix this whole beat and master it? Do we like it? That's just kind of the stuff I ask myself before I put a beat out. Thought it might sound better pitched up, but it does not. Alright, now's kind of the part where I ask myself, that's like going to be the hook, you know, everything's going at the same time, all the melodies are playing, but what's it going to be like when we drop that out? So I just kind of want to look at what that sounds like too. So it sounds good. There's space there for an artist to kind of go crazy and do their thing, which I like. But I want to add in, maybe instead of this pad just getting tiring, the whole thing, I kind of want to add a similar sounding synth in the same chord progression, maybe a slight variation, just to kind of catch the ear, like, oh, now is the verse, now is when I start going in on the rapping more. It's those little things that are going to make a beat much more interesting for potential artists to hop on. And at least that's what I listen for when I'm trying to rap on a track, is I automatically, first thing that I do, very first thing when I hear a beat, is I'm either like, this is something I want to rap on, or just like, this is a sick beat, but what do I even do here? You know, it might be too crazy, too much going on. So, want to make sure it's artist friendly if you want it, because you want to get people freestyling on your beats. When you have an artist click on your YouTube beat, they're gonna start freestyling or they're not. They're gonna go to the next beat. You know, growing up rapping, that's all my friends and I did, is either next beat or we just start flowing. So I guess the point of what I'm trying to say is you want to keep it pretty interesting. You don't want crazy stuff going on, but you want it to catch their ear. I can't tell if that's super hard or really stupid. It's crazy fast. Maybe if I half time it, let's see if we can do that. It's cool, but I don't think I want that in this beat. It's too busy, and that's supposed to be the part where we leave the artist more space to rap during the verse. And it's just it's a bit busy for me. Guap organ? Just kind of a little something I noticed, and I'm going to go back and change that in the first track as well. I just noticed that note's kind of dragging out a little long, and I want that chord progression to keep moving. That lead could low-key be really sick on something. Just trying to find a sound that's going to kind of match our energy for this one. Is that another little problem area here? It's not really a problem area, but I just kind of like the way that vibe sets in better, so we're going to go ahead and change that. Not really feeling any of these synths, but try a different pad, maybe something a little sharper will do the trick. I like that. That's got the vibe we're going for, I think. And I think we're gonna do so I'm really just gonna give these chords a little bit more space to kind of do their thing, and leave a little bit more space for the artist. That way we don't have that same pad playing the whole entire time. So how I imagine the verse coming in now is you're gonna have something like this. Then the bass. Then the hi-hats. So I try to imagine how the beat's gonna move. And then back to the... So that's really the direction I wanted to go with the beat is, I mean, I really didn't have a direction first off, but I'm really enjoying the way it turned out. And I wanted something that was just a lot of good vibes, kind of a summertime, you know, just like a fun rap song type feel. And I think we really achieved that sound here, you know. So I'm just going to do a very rough mix on this and export it, and then we're going to take a quick break and we're going to mix the beat, master it, and put it out just like we do every day. It's just another day in the life of an internet producer, just making the beat from scratch. We'll have to do a sample beat soon here on the channel, because I think that's something that's glossed over a lot, and there's a lot you can do with sampling. The MPC is a beast at sampling, so I think that'd be a really fun video to do. Let me know if you guys would like to see something like that. So like I said, for now, I'm just going to do a very light mix on the beat, kind of see where we're at, export it. I'm going to take a short break, and then we're going to get right back into mixing it. And I just want to thank everyone again for watching this far. I think we got a really nice beat going here. Just kind of want to take a listen to how the drums sound on their own. I think the hi-hats are a little bit loud. That one perk is a little... And then when we drop the verse, we're gonna have, I think that's a nice sounding drop, smooth. Then the bass comes in, then some hi-hats. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in like all the melodies for a little breakdown type thing. Kind of like a little pre-hook type deal. And then drop this. Very nice. I'm liking this one a lot. I would say the rough mix is totally there. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and export it now. I think the rough mix is definitely there. Just gonna save the beat and export it. I'm gonna take a short break. Just gonna be right back on the stream, you know. And then we will mix the whole beat top to bottom. Also, just to let everyone know, I'm gonna put timestamps in the top comment and in the description of the beat. That way, if you just want to watch the Cookup, you can just click right there. If you want to just watch the mix, you can click right there. If you want to watch the mastering, you can just check that out. That way you don't have to sift through all this. I do understand it's a long video, and I just want you all to be able to watch what you want to watch and get to where you're going. And I appreciate anyone tuning in regardless, so thank you so much. We can call this SoundCloud. Alright, and for everyone watching, I'm going to go ahead and pop open my email. My email is always in the description. If you want to have me listen to one of your tracks and check it out, check out your channel, and get any feedback, just feel free to drop me an email anytime. Even if I don't get to it on stream, or we're in the middle of something and I don't see it, I will always get back to you. I will always listen to the beat, so, you know, feel free to get at me anytime. My email is always in the description. All my socials are there too. feel free to reach out for anything. Alright, so we went ahead and exported this. Save it. And we're opening it up in Ableton. I used to mix my beats on the MPC and arrange them with its song mode screen, and that can be kind of fun for certain types of beats and certain things, but I find that mixing and arranging in Ableton is so much easier for me, and it allows me to be a bit more creative with my drops and with adding vocals into. I record all my vocals into Ableton, so I think that is just a really nice tool to have. If you have an easier place where you might be able to mix your beats, I would always suggest doing that, just because I prefer making a beat over mixing it a lot of days, and I think that Ableton really takes a lot of the guesswork and a lot of the stress out of mixing a beat. So we have all of our tracks. And what I do is I just copy and paste them all throughout Ableton. And I usually just start by taking out every track, but just the first main melody. I kind of build the song how I want to hear the song. So the chord progression is going to come in first, then a little teaser of the melody, then maybe the drums drop, maybe you have a clap and the drums build a little bit. You have a long intro, a short intro, so I kind of build the beat when I'm cooking it up and making it, how I'm going to want to have it arranged and what I'm going to want to hear in that order. Alright, I like the drums dropping in on there. And really quick, guys, I'm just going to take a short break, grab a glass of water. I really appreciate everyone watching, and then I'm going to come back and we'll get to mixing this beat and mastering it. So thank you so much. Be right back.
They go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With the back of the lamb, got a black truck. Got a black truck. Yeah, we be going strong. Shorty know I got my money long. High end like luxury, yeah, baby. Drop top, we speeding in that Mercedes. They go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With a bad bitch on me, she gon' act up. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that wax stuff. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that wax stuff. Private jet G6, jetted up main. Got Louis V all over my body. Gucci, Louis Vuitton when I step in the lobby. Now shorty all up on me. Yeah, I'm heavy all up in the game. I'm spitting that raw shit. Freestyle on shorty, know she want it. Well, I'm a scientist, bitch, I get up on it. But when I be up in the studio, yeah, she dropping stupid low. Be up in the studio, yeah, she dropping stupid low. Yeah, shorty want a lot of me. Colors all up in my chain, make you think I hit the motherfucking lottery. I stack raps on the shit like I'm a prodigy. And now the shorty reaching up because she proud of me, yeah. High and I'm on one. I pop 2 pills. Bitch, and now I'm gone, son. And what you gon' do? I be with my whole team, yeah, the whole crew. And what we gon' do? Yeah. High end like luxury, baby. She wanna fucking me crazy. And she, baby, I be whipping down the strip in Mercedes. Shorty wanna come through, she want me having my babies. than cocaine. I'm with your girl all night and you ain't no main. And she, baby, I be smoking on the whole thing. Yeah, got my rocks up. Shorty know that I be stacked up. In the back in that black truck with my bad bitch, told me she gon' act up. It go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With the back of the lamb, got a black truck. Got a black truck. Yeah, we be going strong. Shorty know I got my money long. High end like luxury, yeah, baby. Drop top, we speeding in that Mercedes. It go crazy, bitch, you back up. In the back of the lamb, got a black truck. With a bad bitch on me, she gon' act up. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that whack stuff. And she, baby, yeah, know I smoke that whack stuff. Private jet G6, jetted up main. Got Louis V all over my body. Gucci, Louis Vuitton when I step in the lobby. Now shorty all up on me. Yeah, I'm heavy all up in the game. I'm spitting that raw shit. Freestyle on shorty, know she want it. Well, I'm a scientist, bitch, I get up on it. But when I be up in the studio, yeah, she dropping stupid low. Be up in the studio, yeah, she dropping stupid low. Yeah, shorty want a lot of me. Colors all up in my chain, make you think I hit the motherfucking lottery. I stack raps on the shit like I'm a prodigy. And now the shorty reaching up because she proud of me, yeah. High and I'm on one. I pop 2 pills, bitch, and now I'm gone, son. And what you gon' do? I be with my whole team, yeah, the whole crew. And what we gon' do? Yeah, high end like luxury, baby. She wanna fucking me crazy. And she, baby, I be whipping down the strip in Mercedes. Shorty wanna come through, she want me having my babies. I'm sick with the flow, man. These diamonds on my wrist whiter than cocaine. I'm with your girl all night and you ain't no main. And she, baby, I be smoking on the whole thing. Yeah, got my rocks up. Shorty know that I be stacked up. In the back in that black truck with my bad bitch, told me she gon' act up. It go crazy.
Alright, everybody, I'm back. Had to get something to sip on. A little glass of water. Had to take the jacket off. I was getting hot. And I'm ready to mix this beat for you all now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to arrange the beat first, since we came in with a pretty rough mix that I liked. think we need a little riser or something there to kind of let everyone know that the beat is starting. Because I kind of want the drums to just come right in on this one. That other one was too crazy, but I like this one. So let's just kind of add that in. A little early there, a little early. Kind of want this sound right here just to signify that we're starting the verse. I just want it to be like a mini drop, you know. Bass. Little kind of pre-hook drop down. Something sounded a little off in there. Yeah, something sounds off with that chord progression and the breakdown, so I'm going to go ahead and use the pad instead. I think it builds a little better too. So we've got our arrangement. That's how the beat's gonna go. It's gonna be, you know, hook, verse, outro. Short songs are everywhere these days. I like to make my beats, you know, 2 to 3 minutes, maybe up to 4 if it's something slower like an R&B song. But, you know, fast songs they're the newest thing now. You know, everyone likes a nice quick banger, but I think that, oh god, what was I going to say? Basically, I'm saying that if an artist wanted to hop on this and make it longer or have different breakdowns in certain areas, that's something you can always do after the fact. That's why I like to export to stem, and I always keep my arrangement file, because once this is mixed, it's so easy to just export it again after changing one or two things, drop it onto the mastering chain, and master it again. It's simple. There's our little outro. So here's the beat. Alright, so I'm going to start by adding effects on anything I like. I know I started with the EQ, but for the sake of time and just getting everything right, we're going to throw a little effect of reverb on that. One thing I like to do with these melodies that have a little delay on them is I leave a little tail on it and then I join them. So now we have a little tail at the end there, and that delay can kind of ride out into the verse for a second, if you can hear. So it's not a lot, but it just makes the track flow a little better and sound a little bit less sharp when it transitions from one thing to another. And what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that wherever I have that particular sound ending with just dead negative space in the DAW. Little reverb on the clap. Just enough to warm it up a little bit there. My percussions were just a little loud there. you want them to be audible. You want to hear the percussion, but you don't want it coming up with the clap. It should be a little quieter than the clap, in my opinion, since the clap is the main rhythm. Okay, so we've got everything sounding like I want it to sound now, so we're going to go back and just EQ the whole thing. There we go. Find any bad frequencies really quickly here. There's a little something there. We can be pretty generous with our dips on a pad because it's going to have a lot more fuzziness in it. There's a lot of sounds going on in the pad, a lot of frequencies, so sometimes I really like to take out stuff that is not going to sound good in the overall mix. We want a song like this to be very clean. Not that you ever want a dirty mix, but looks good to me. And what I'm doing is just making it a low cut when I go to the first band. Alright, that sounds good to me. This is a very high frequency sound, so it's not going to be a lot of lows. I've said this before in past streams, but you want to try to cut as much as you can without sacrificing the integrity or the identity of the sound. So you don't want it to sound thin, but you want to get frequencies out of the way that could be clashing with your hi-hats in this area, with your mids or chord progression here, or your kick and your 808 right here. So there's some really twinkly sounds in here. So there's not really any terrible frequencies, but right there, there's kind of a frequency that I don't like, and we're just going to take it out. Makes it sound a lot better. For this, we're going to do the same thing. And I'm just soloing all these for the sake of time. Sometimes I play them with the mix, but I think it's really nice to hear them on their own. That way, if you can hear them on their own, you can really hear what you're doing to the sound. Alright, so there we're doing a really nice cut, and we're leaving room for that other higher pitched melody. Let's see if there are any bad frequencies. See where that peak is happening right there? That's going to be a frequency that does not sound so good, so we're going to cut that. I'm going to cut a little bit more harshly in the mix today, just because these sounds are very vibey, lots of reverb, fuzziness. I'm EQing after the reverb and the delay. There's a little something right there, but that's good for this sound. On the EQ, we can move on to the next thing, which is going to be our percussion. For this, we're just going to take a quick listen and see where the frequencies are. So for this, you can put them on separate tracks. I'm just going to do a frequency sweep with like 4 or 5 bands. And that one is pretty high pitched anyway. So I'm just going to cut a little of the highs on that, and I kind of expected to do that going into the mix. If I didn't expect to do that, and I wanted to keep that one perk sound really clean, I would put it on a separate track. We're just going to take out any bad frequencies here. We have a little something in the bongo sound there. Alright, so there we have a pretty nasty sound. And then we have one more with the other perk. Right there in the middle. And we have a lot of percussion in this beat, so I'm gonna kind of want to really take care to clean it up. That's why I'm doing so many high cuts right here. And usually I only do about 3 decibels, those are about 4. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pan some of this percussion to the left. I'm going to pan the clap to the right. For the hi-hats, I'm going to pan further to the right. And for the pitched, actually I'm going to do a little bit less on the hi-hats because I don't want them so far or wide. But I do want them not dead center. And then on the, and they do occupy a really different frequency range as the clap, so it's not a big deal. But I do want my percussion kind of doing its own thing on the left side. You don't want to thin your clap out most of all. You really want to have a nice full clap since it's the main rhythm of the song. So there's just a few frequencies on the clap that are going to interfere with things, so I'm just going to take those out and then on to the next. Really mixing is just EQing everything And it's been said if you have really good sounds, you don't have to mix. This is just something I like to do. I'm not doing a really heavy cut on any of these. I'm just isolating the frequencies where the bulk of them exists in the audible sound range. So, for instance, this clap, you don't need to worry about cutting up to 500 because there's no, you know, there's nothing that's going to make that clap sound good in 500. This is good, so I'm just going to take that band off. So we have our clap done. For the 808, I kind of want to add a little saturator, but we'll see. I don't know if I want to mess with it too much, so let's just see. We just added some saturator to that. It's just going to add a little distortion and thickness to certain frequencies. It's about 50% wet. It's a very mild effect, but without it, you can hear the 808 is like this. Sorry, have the EQ. So it sounds good, but then with the saturator, it just gives it a little more punch. It's a little dirtier. And we're going to EQ some of that high frequency out. So it's going to be even cleaner once we're done with that. So we're doing just a few little cuts on that, and then we'll move on. Looks like we have a bad frequency right there, so we'll go ahead and another. If you're distorting your 808s and they're big and bassy, you're going to have a few rough spots that you need to EQ out. And that's just the way it's going to be. Especially with modern 808s, distortion is really common. And this is a really good pack of drums, but I like to do this because I think my mix is cleaner. If I don't do this, it sounds muddy. That's not because it's a bad sample or the drum sounds don't go together, but certain frequencies do clash, and it's better to leave a little bit of space, and it's not going to thin out your sound. It can sound good without doing all this, but some people would say this is a little bit of overkill. Me personally, it's just a personal preference. I like a really clean mix, and I like to take any of those frequencies out. I've had clean drum sounds all from the same kit that just work, but even then I still will EQ some of the highs and lows out just to give it a little bit tighter, crisper, more polish. There's another. So I did introduce some tough frequencies into the 808 when I added that saturator, and we're still going to get all the good parts of that saturation, but now we're just kind of EQing out some of the more sloppy and messy frequencies we put in there. There's another bad one. I'm not going to throw a second EQ on, just because we're going to be EQing the bass the entire time we do the final master. So we'll be good on that one. We're going to go ahead and do the kick drum now. For the kick drum, I just want to hear it soloed so we can kind of see what we're getting into here, make sure we're not dampening it too much. Already sounds less muddy. So let's cut some highs. Sounds about the same. There's a little less high, but barely noticeable. And now let's just take out a couple of the bad frequencies. Alright, there's one. And the kick is not going to be very prevalent in this mix, just because, like I said when I was making the beat, this is a really 808 heavy beat, so I think it's just going to work more nicely to have a very clean kick and clean bounce between the 808 and the kick. I'm going to do a little side chaining for the kick and the melodies, just so that the kick doesn't get lost with everything else, since we have a lot of other stuff going on in this beat. There's another little tidbit that's not so friendly. Friendly to our ears. That's all we're trying to do here, is be friendly to our ears. That's pretty much what being a musician is be friendly to your ears and stay true to yourself, you know? What else can you really do as a musician? Make things that sound good and make things that make you feel good, you know what I'm saying? And there's a little something there. I think anything else to EQ out on the kick is just going to be unnecessary. Now that we have all that done, I'm actually just going to sidechain the kick right now while we're here. That way we can just kind of say we're done with the drums. So what I do for that is I put the 808s and all the main melodies into a group. I hold down Control and select them if you're in Ableton, and then Control G puts them into a group. What I do once I get that group is I throw a compressor on the group. I click this little arrow here, click sidechain, and then I get input from whatever the drum track is, which it's 7 here. And then I just kind of listen for what sounds right. We're going to turn it off just so we can kind of hear it coming through. So if you sidechain something all the way, it's going to sound like this. You hear our melodies are almost cutting out every time that kick hits. So you don't want that. You just want those melodies slightly compressed and lowered in volume just a tiny bit when you're doing a side chain on the kick in hip hop. You don't want that pumping effect. So that's just a little bit, and I'm even gonna just take it to 50%. And that just really makes our kick stand out just a tiny bit, and that's just gonna bring a little bit more bounce into our mix. Okay, so we've got our EQ on our kick. I just lowered the volume on the hi-hats a little bit. See, really odd thing about is if you notice here, this is why I cut the lows on a lot of things, is because there's some bass frequency dancing around on this hi-hat. I don't know why. I can't hear it with my ears. I can't hear it in the headphones, on the monitors, anything. So I think best bet is to just get rid of that. It's not adding anything to our beat. And frequencies like that really will muddy up the kick and the 808. So you gotta watch for stuff like that. So I want to do a pretty drastic cut on these hi-hats just because I want them really crisp, sharp, and snappy. And I really want these hi-hats to set themselves apart from the pitched hi-hats. Take out anything bad. So there we go. And we're just going to take that out. Bring up the volume a little bit on those hi-hats because I think we can really afford to with what we just cut out of it, and now it sounds like a much crisper, shinier, it sounds like a brand new hi-hat that you just got out the store. So here's our pitched hi-hat EQ. Alright, that sounds good for the low cut. And we might EQ some of the highs out on this because if you take a look at our hi-hat track, most of our stuff is happening, wherever 7 is. So 7K and above. And on this, we might even want to EQ out some of the highs just that way so they don't bleed into the regular hats. I think that sounds good, and we can even turn them up just a tiny bit. And there's something in there that we can get rid of too. I can hear it already. There it is. It's just like a dog whistle, bird chirping type of sound. Sounds terrible. There's another little bad frequency, so we're just going to take those out and move on to the next thing. And this is why I EQ everything, is because it's going to just sound like a much cleaner mix in the final process. So now we just have a little perk. That's just our that has a bad frequency in it, and I don't like saying bad frequency because it's not bad. The sound is good in and of itself, but you're going to find bad frequencies and things that may overlap when you're using any different type of kit with anything else in a song. So it's always good to just kind of watch what you're doing and just EQ some stuff out that is not necessarily going to sound terrible, but it's those little things overall that contribute to a cleaner mix. That's got to be like my trademark saying if you've been watching the stream. It is the little things that you do along the way that contribute to the overall clean product. Just those tiny little things along the way, they're going to make it. We can turn that up a little since we took the harsh frequency out. I'm actually going to cut it a little more and turn it up. Now we have an EQ to put on the little bass perk. So that's a really bassy sound. We can cut some of the lows. Yeah, for that one, I'm gonna cut some of the lows because I just don't want a percussive sound, a perk just interfering with my 808s. Try to And once we've got that part done, we can just take out any bad frequencies we hear. So there's a bad frequency. Let's just check and see if there's anything else. So I'm just going to kind of take the, best approach here and just dip a little bit of that low or that high on here just to kind of leave room for stuff that's going on here. Not that much, but just enough to where we have it's just barely there. And that's not one of the most important sounds of the track. It's just a little bit of atmosphere. We're going to turn it up though a little. That's a little too loud. I don't want to clip because of that sound. Yeah, so it's just a little bit there. And now we're going to go in and EQ this final melody and our riser. and then we'll be done, and we can master it. That sounds pretty good to me for that sound, so let's just take out anything bad. And there's a little something. Alright, there's not really anything that's peaking right there, but I just want to take some of that out so that it's a little cleaner. I like the way it sounds in the mix. And now let's just do a little EQ on that riser. It's one of those annoying things to equalize because it's not playing constantly, so you just have to keep tapping it and hearing it again until you're done with it. I just want to take out a little bit of general noise in that area. Alright. I think that sounds really good. It's sounding just like I want it to sound, so we're going to go ahead and export it. We've got the song arranged, we've got it mixed, and now we can master the song. And we're just going to name it Cloud. Because it is like floating on a cloud. It's just relaxing, nice summertime type vibe, making music with your friends, good stuff. So that's ready for mastering. We're going to go ahead and export it, and then we're going to do a master. We really cleaned this one up a lot in the mix, so once we go to master it, I think it's just going to be a piece of cake, probably only 2 EQs. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open up a new set. We are going to take the ready to master version of this song, and let's take a look at these. Oops. Alright. Let's take a look at the waveform just to make sure we don't have to go right back in. There's a couple spots where the bass might be high, but I think we'll be able to compress just fine. Alright, so we got our... I do a very little low cut and a very little high cut on the overall track. That way it kind of squashes everything together, and if there's any frequencies overlapping, it'll just take care of those and we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the mastering. Right, there's a little something right there that I think we can get rid of. And we'll do a little bit wider just so we don't have mud right there. There's a little mud right there. I don't want to do any wide bands over 40 hertz. Okay. Another little one right there. That's where our bass is just kind of hitting, and it's just kind of hitting a weird pocket, and it's probably overlapping a little with the kick right here. So I want to do a nice cut right there, just because it's a really big peak. And there's another really nasty spot where we just have a frequency kind of ringing out. So we still have a little muddiness in the low end on this master. There's definitely a lot in the low mids going on here. So let's throw another EQ on it, and we'll go from high to low. Hopefully we can get lucky and get a clean high end. And there's going to be our first notch that kind of tells us where that cut is on the hi-hats, and we will go from there. Yeah, we have a pretty clean high end on this song. We did a lot of good mixing there. And that one percussion sound there is just god-awful. It's still just striking it through everything. A little something there too. I'm just doing a few wider bands there just because I really want to clean that high end up. Oh yeah, there's a really nasty one right there in our main melody. I'm actually going to cut that out a lot just because it's so twinkly, and I just don't want that getting in the way. Yeah, there's a couple right there that are just really wanting to slide in and ruin the day, so I'm just going to widen it out there. A little whistling on the clap there, so let's take that out. And generally speaking, I don't usually cut this much, but we're just getting some nasty frequencies overlapping here. That happens sometimes with really fuzzy, reverby, twinkly sounds. They're really nice sounds, but they oftentimes need a little bit of cleaning up. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to put a third EQ on this one. Yeah, there's a little whooshing sound on the clap there. Alright, so let's start again from the bottom, and we've cleaned up the high end pretty well here, so, you know, we might not need the whole EQ. Yeah, so there's still quite a bit of mess right there. And I've said this before in streams, but you can spend your whole day finding little things wrong in a song. So at the end of the day, you kind of got to ask yourself, you know, how far do I want to take this? And you will thin out your sound if you EQ out too much eventually, so there's no reason to go crazy with it, but you do want a clean mix. There's a reason in big professional studios you see a board like this with 50 bands of EQ on it, and like an SL1 analog mixing deck. You know, in mastering engineer studios, you see stuff like that. There's a reason, because they're putting a lot of bands on the track and they're really trying to clean it up. And those guys, you know, they're real mastering engineers. They'll push your song through that board and make it sound like a diamond. But if you just have Ableton and, you know, some EQs, this is really... You don't have to have Ableton. You can use Fruity EQ in FL Studio. You can use DMG if you like a third-party EQ. I really like that one. I just think, you know, I already have Ableton. This is free, and I think it's a great EQ. I've gotten really good results with this. So if you have Ableton, Fruity EQ is really good too if you have that. So it's just what you like to use and what makes your mix sound the cleanest. Yeah, there's quite a few little messy spots left in this one, so we're just trying to, you know, clean up as much as we can and before we move on to compressing the whole track. Yeah, it looks like we might be putting a fourth EQ on this. We'll see. There's another little rough spot. That's kind of a big peak. So I think we'll just do one more for good measure, and we'll do from high end to low end. And we'll actually start with the verse section this time. That way we just we don't miss any frequencies that we only hear in that one part of the song, and that'll just be better. We'll get different parts of the song, so we'll just clean up certain things that we might not have heard in that other portion. There's a little something there, a little whistling, chirping. Okay, so we're going to take that out. This is like the time when I'm like, gosh, I can't wait to be done mastering this song. Because we are finding a lot of stuff, and it's going to come out really nice and clean, but putting these 48 bands on it is, or 32 bands rather. Now I'm just kind of looking for where any of those first hits come in on the one, and seeing if we can just take a little bit of nasty EQ out of those. There's a little bit of something right there, and what I'm doing there is just I'm listening for the sound that hits after the note. There's another little spot that can be cut. Probably getting pretty quiet now because this is just a mix. That's all the EQs. Let's go ahead and compress the whole thing. 253 release. I want this to be 134, and I want the loudest part of the song, so we can just get a little gain reduction. We're just looking for right there. So that's a good amount of compression for me. On the limiter, we're going to turn auto off in Ableton and set it to 0.3 milliseconds, and we're going to increase the gain during the loudest part of the song until we see it barely reach -6. That's starting to sound really good. Let's throw a tag on it. And this one will be done. I'm going to throw my delay tag on this. kind of wanted to hit on that last clap.
That's Wavy. That's Wavy.
We're just going to make sure the tempo's right.
That's Wavy. That's Wavy.
And I'm just going to put a little telephone effect that I made on the... So this is just my telephone effect. Guys, this one turned out awesome. And there it is, our fully mastered track with 1,000,000 EQs on it. Sounds clean as can be, though. I love it. It turned out beautifully. And anyone still watching, I really want to thank you for sticking with me through the process. You can find this on my channel later today. Probably really soon, just because I'm going to export it and look to finish up the video right now. But I'm going to end the stream. And I want to thank everyone again for 100 subscribers. It really means a lot to me, everyone tuning into the channel, liking the videos, and listening to the songs. If you want to see anything different, feel free to leave a comment on my video, and please subscribe if you enjoyed the content today and the music. And thank you so much for watching. Let's keep this going, and let's keep it wavy. Thank you, and have a good day.